Alright guys, Dokkan time, and today we're going to be doing a showcase for LR Ultimate Gohan. Now, I've pretty much skipped him for the last week or so that he's been out. I did summon for him a little bit. I managed to get a dupe of him, a single dupe. And I'm kind of glad that I did because I feel like the biggest thing about this Ultimate Gohan is that he's a jack of all trades. He's supporting. He's got a very good, healthy defense for a majority of content in the game, even on JP. And he could do some decent damage. The only problem with his damage is that he has no critical or attacks effective against all type built into his passive. That's why his build suggestion is always going to be having crit built into it. I think eventually in his lifetime he'll get to a point where maybe you'll want to stick dodge onto him, but I mean his defense is just so good, specifically post super, at that point that he should be a-okay to take hits, so long as you're not being kind of foolish and putting him in slot 1. Now I do have a new type of layout on the right side here called roll tips. And I'll have it cycling in and out along with the build suggestion as I go through one of these fights to kind of just show off the unit. And it's going to be his best or preferred leader, his preferred and best partners, and then his best slot position as well. I find that I get a lot of questions about what partners people want to run with new units that come out, and this is just kind of my answer to that, and I'm going to test it out with this new unit. So at the very top, next to roll tips, you'll see there's a little heart next to that. Hold on, let me just go ahead and remove this right here. So at the very top, you'll see that there's a heart on him, and I classify this Gohan as more of a kind of a support unit. He's kind of just all over the place. I consider him more of a support role because, one, he's a very solid defending unit. Two, he's not doing a crazy amount of damage, but he can do good damage. And then he actually has loads of different support in his kit, where he's giving allies defense all over the place. And that's the main reason that I decided to classify him as a support unit, especially when you actually get the unit super off with Gotenks, where he's actually raising allies' defense by 58%. Now, obviously, the biggest issue with that is that he is a slot 2 unit. Slot 1, he just doesn't have enough start of turn defense to be tanking everything in the game. Yes, he does have guard, but I just don't feel like that's his position. So, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut over here to we're gonna cut over here into a recorded video that I had of him, and we're gonna see what he can do. So this fight is the stage 1 versus the Majin Buu allies, or Babidi allies, whichever one it is called. And basically the best thing you can do to showcase this unit is you want to get Ultimate Gohan next to the Tech Z-Sword Gohan, and then eventually transform Z-Sword into Ultimate. Then you'll have all of his links active. I did throw Kid Buu onto this team because he's just the obviously good support unit to chuck onto the team. As the more I use Kid Buu, the more I feel like I probably should have left his dodge down to just a little bit. For whatever reason with the Majin Buu Saga Celebration, my dodge chances have just been skyrocketing up much more. But anyways, this isn't about Kid Buu, this is about Gohan. So Gohan is good. The problem is his link set. His link set isn't crazy. He's got Infighter, he's got Cold Judgment, Power Bestowed by God, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, all in the family, and Shocking Speed. Now, obviously, Shocking Speed has been starting to pop up on a majority of units, but even on this rotation, he has like virtually no links going off. He's got like no links going off. And I'm probably going to get the question, why would you want Gotenks to be his ideal partner? because of his unit super attack. Because his unit super attack is both greatly stacking his attack, which is improving his damage per turn, and then you have his ally ability, which is increasing all allies' attack by 58%. That's a lot of extra defense. Now, I mind you, depending on how the rotation goes, you could potentially put him into slot 1. Like, for instance, right here on this turn, if it was just that one attack coming in slot 1, so long as it wasn't a super attack, it would be safe to put AGL LR Ultimate Gohan into that slot just to take the normal, and it'd be okay. You know, we could afford to take one normal. It's when you see a bunch of attacks coming in there, or you just started a new phase, and, you know, most fights, when you start a new phase, the first time you're going to get supered is right there in slot 1. So it's not always the best choice to put a weaker unit into slot 1 at that point. Now, Gohan does have several other types of leaders. He does have several leaders that he can take advantage of. Most primarily as 170, though. I would say his only, like, truly relevant team is going to be really on Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku's team. It's the only one I would probably highly suggest putting him on. I don't think you should ever change that. I just don't think you should. Because he doesn't have too many other 200% options. His entire kit revolves around Majin Buu Saga. So, I mean, you don't even really want to put him on any other team. And on Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku's team is the only team you can actually fully utilize easily a full Majin Buu squad. Now, on this team right here that we're playing, we're actually taking at a disadvantage of a 180. I did that on purpose. Mostly to show that if, you know, by chance you don't have the Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku, that Gohan can still shine. He can still perform very well. He can still have good attack and damage, defense numbers. All can be very well. STR Vegito can definitely be a very good sub-lead. I think there's plenty of Majin Buu Saga options as of right now to verify that. So we're finally getting to the first turn of Gotenks going Super Saiyan. Now, this is the ideal rotation right here. This is the ideal rotation. Hold on, let me pause real quick. So in this instance, it is very viable that you could potentially put Gohan and keep him there in slot 1. You got an STR boss coming at you. He's got super over extreme. He's got a type advantage. He's got guard. He's got majority of all of his links going off with Gohan right there. I think this would be one of those very few times where you could be like, yeah, I can throw him into slot 1. Gotenks is there on the rotation, therefore he's going to get his ally, so his unit super attack to go off. So I think it would have been fine. I didn't do it out of just like it was just muscle memory. Like, I know that he's a slot 2 unit because he is a slot 2 unit. It's only on specific encounters like this where you could ideally, or potentially, not ideally, potentially put him into slot 1. But as you can see, Deborah still does good damage. He still does very decent amount of damage. This Z-Sword Gohan has a very similar amount of defense that Z, or the LR, will have on defense. The only difference is he doesn't have type advantage. So you could have expected maybe half of that damage on Ultimate Gohan pre-super. I kind of wish, like, when I was recording that I was thinking a little bit harder about it and then put him on there. But let's see his damage numbers. So he's at 11 million attack stat right now. We floated him off turn 1, so he's got, like, virtually no stacking right now. So this is, like, the weakest he could probably be with the most, like, straightforward rotation, ideally, that you would want. 11 million's not bad. It's a pretty good number. We got a double super right there. I would always consider he always gets a double super. If he ever only gets one super attack, your RNG was just really bad. But I don't think you should ever consider thinking that, yeah, Gohan's going to get a triple. I don't think it's going to be often, unfortunately. He does have those built-in additionals, but only one of those additionals has like a 70% chance, I think it was. It's either a 70 or a 50% chance. Yeah, he has a 70% chance of doing one additional in there. But he's also got like 30% chances to additional in his passive, which is just very minuscule. The odds have to be severely stacked in your favor in order to hit those two. But yeah, because of the sheer amount of additionals he can perform, that's another reason why you want to put crits on him, so that even if he doesn't get supers all the time, he's still getting criticals to go through. Come on, come on. Dun, 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 dun. We're just watching Vegito work right now. We're about to go into the final phase right here. We're just going to go into the final phase. And in this final phase, we're really going to see where Ultimate Gohan can shine. Majin Buu Saga is a great team right now. But I cannot stress enough that Ultimate Gohan, the LR, he is stuck to a Majin Buu Saga team. So if Majin Buu Saga ever gets to a point where it cycles out of the meta, he too will go with it, in my opinion. So, transforming with everybody on this turn. This is the only thing I don't like about Z-Sword Gohan. I feel like this transformation is just so drawn out and long. It's just so drawn out and long. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad, transformation little cutscene. It's just like, eh. So, oh, that was not a lot of damage, was it? It was only half a health bar. You can't beat me. And he only proceeded to knock out the rest of that bar. So, this is another instance where you could have potentially thrown Ultimate Gohan into slot 1, and you would have been perfectly fine, as there was no attacks coming in pre-super. He would have been perfectly fine to just go ahead and chuck right in to slot 1. And if you had done that, both Goku and the Tech Ultimate Gohan would have gotten a 58% increase on their defense. Well, that's not true, actually. I take that back. So the only time that he gets that 58% boost is if you have Gotenks on the attacking rotation. Otherwise, the only thing you're doing is stacking attack normally, which is only like a 30% stack. So yeah, I can't express enough that it is very important to have Gotenks on rotation. And that's why the ideal partner still is either the Tech Ultimate Gohan or it's the physical and intelligence Gotenks. I wouldn't even say Tech Gotenks is an option. He's just not defensively good enough to sit in slot 1. Whereas with physical Gotenks, you can put him in slot 1 and keep Gohan in slot 2. And once intelligence Gotenks gets to Super Saiyan 3 status, he can be considered into a dodge tank and put him into slot 1 instead. So all three of these guys are very much obvious options you can choose. The only issue being that Gotenks will have virtually no links with Ultimate Gohan. So you're kind of making a trade-off when you're choosing your link partners. That's the only thing that's kind of crappy about it. It's part of the reason I don't really like this Gohan's kit. I think it's all over the place. If we had the physical Goten and Trunks Super Saiyan unit EZA and it's really good, if we had the ability to have a floating unit as a Gotenks, no matter what, like every floater, like 3 floaters as a Gotenks or a Goten and a Trunks, any of those options, it would make a huge difference, because then at that point, we can freely not have to worry about who the slot 1 unit is, and to make sure we get all of his links off with the Z-Sword Gohan. So we got 14 million attack stat going off here. Now keep in mind, he only stacked once. So, I mean, this is, once again, a bare minimum. Here's 1 super, by the way. Here's a double. Here's a triple. And by the way, we still have not crit. Here's a quad. So we have now super attacked 4 times. That is all 3 procs from his passive. And here's the hidden potential for the Penta Super. Yes, Gohan Penta Supered. We got a Penta Super out of Gohan. And we still didn't crit. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if we had gotten even 1 critical, if they had given him attacks effective against all types, we would have killed already. We would have killed with Ultimate Gohan. Ultimate Gohan would have killed. We wouldn't even be going through this animation process with Goku here. It just wouldn't have happened. There's just that big of a difference between attacks effective against all types and just the normal attacks going through. So, like I said, that's the big issue I feel with Gohan is he wants dupes, he wants crit, because that's the only thing he's really missing out on, in all given honesty. That is the only thing that Gohan truly is not excelling in my personal opinion. Like, there's just... everything else is fine. Everything else is fine about Gohan. I think he's a fantastic unit on Majin Buu Saga. He's definitely supporting the allies on the team. He's a solid defender in slot 2. And if you can get away with throwing him into slot 1, he just makes the whole rotation better. But I can't express enough. You know, thinking about this unit, if you really wanted to go for a last-second summon, I would just not suggest it. I just really wouldn't. He's a fantastic unit, though. I enjoy him. I think he makes the Majin Buu Saga feel like a Majin Buu Saga team. I think it's pretty fun to run him. It's, and I mean, you could have these golden opportunities right here, like where I got the Penta Super. A Penta Super. 5 super attacks going off. You know, just none of them crit. So, but, yeah. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Gohan. Is he really, like, is he as kind of bad? I talked kind of negative about him in this video. But I think I showed off pretty well what his, like, what his peak and what his lows would be. Maybe not his peak, but definitely kind of one of his middle ground. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about the roll tips on the side. And I hope you have a good day and a good night.